When you fell, were you stuck on the ground without being able to move?
I was knocked out. My father was with me. He climbed 2 meters above me. So I fell, and like a cat, I wanted to see where I'm falling, but right before the impact, I lost the memory. Then in the hospital, probably they woke me up there, and the first thing I said to them, don't put doping stuff into my body.
From a tiny hill behind his family's apartment to the towering ski-flying ramps of the world, from his first competitions at 6 years old to World Cup podiums and Olympic gold in Vancouver, the thrill of perfect landings and the agony of broken vertebrae, chronic intestinal inflammation, and the long road back, the human drama of a life spent chasing meters in the air and seconds on the snow. This is the extraordinary competitive journey of Olympic champion David Kreiner. Forged in the winters of Kitzbühel, sharpened by childhood courage, tested by world championships, digestive battles the doctor said would never end, and seasons derailed only to be rebuilt through discipline, breathwork, and self-healing, lifted by a mindset that turned pressure into performance when it mattered most. This is the story of an athlete who learned to fly and kept rising long after the jump was over.
So I'm Sifu Slim, and I'm asking you viewers to give us a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe. And open your ears, open your minds, and for the next 50 minutes, we will learn something about an Austrian athlete. And he grew up in an area where lots of people come to train, but he grew up here, I believe. And introduce yourself and tell us where you were born, David.
Yeah, hi, I'm David Kreiner, born and raised in Kitzbühel. I always say my quote is, I did something right in my last life to be born here, so I'm very glad. I enjoyed it, loads of nature, and and if you want to aspire something great, that's a good place to be born in and to live and to be raised. And I had the luck to have all the amenities to do the sport. Of course, you grow up here, as we have loads of winter with skiing, and normally it's alpine skiing, that's the stuff, the famous race, the Streif in Kitzbühel, but I was more into jumping. I just went from one jump to the other, and so it was obvious that I started then on the hills, not as poshy as they are now, but perfect to start. And with 6 years I started to jump and was love at first sight.
Tell us, David, about 1981 and your father's era and your grandfather's era. What were the men doing in those two eras here in Kitzbühel?
Yeah, of course, if you tell about my grandfather, my father's side, I didn't know him because he died while working, not in war, but actually, of course, all they went through the World War II. And my father grew up on the other side, in Pinzgau, on the Salzburg side. My mother as well. And because of the occupation of my father, he worked for the railway. So they moved to Kitzbühel and started there their new life. So obviously, when I hear the stories, it wasn't that easy for them. I grew up with, I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. So Kitzbühel is a rich area. Maybe we weren't the richest, but we had everything we needed. So in hindsight, I appreciated that very much because, of course, I also always wanted the new skis and the new shoes and everything as well. But when you do then sports, it's more important if you're fast or if you jump far, if you can run fast. So the shoes are cool, but cooler is your capability and your talent.
Was your father gone at work 40 plus hours per week?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But in his spare time, he always showed his love or shared his love for the nature with us. He was very much into alpinism, climbing, yeah. Like also in Chamonix, the Dru. Now, as I did one of that stuff, yeah, climbs, I realized he was really. So obviously in many areas of sports, football as well, and Yeah, he taught us the variety of sports. So probably that's why I chose then Nordic Combined. So it combines not only the endurance part, but also force and jumping, the adrenaline part, so all involved.
So your father took you under his wing at some point and put some skis on you. Can you do you remember that day or that year, how that happened?
I only know stories about it because I can't remember that. It was on a small hill behind our apartment. My sisters are a bit older than me, so one was standing above and the other one catched me down there, and I had fun. So I can't remember it, but it had to be a good experience because I didn't quit.
Was this do you remember how old you were?
Two and a half.
2.5?
Yeah.
I've never heard 2.5 before. I always hear 3.5, 5,
Yeah.
something like that, but 2.5 is quite early. You could barely cut your own hot dog at that point, right?
True, yeah. But I think that's normal in that region. And of course you shouldn't put a child in a situation it can't handle. But if you do it with small steps and always fun should be the biggest goal. And of course if you have some giggling and some loving, probably parents and sisters and brothers know that's the right amount of you put your child in, yeah.
Where were you in the order of kids, David?
The third.
And so did you have a brother who could give you his former ski boots and things like that?
No, these were my sisters. My brother is younger than me, so my sisters are 8 years older, and they weren't that much into sports. So probably me and my brother did then more of that stuff.
So you gave your boots to your brother?
Yeah.
And so did your father have to buy you new boots like every 2 years for a number of years while you were growing up?
I don't know if he bought them, but of course I had to wear new ones as I grew a little bit more and more. But as I told you the story, I always wanted, of course, the new stuff, but most of the time it was used stuff. But it totally fit for the things I needed them for the, how should I say it? Yeah, they worked perfectly, yeah.
They didn't have Willhaben, the used online thing, when you were growing up, when you were 8 years old. So how did you find things that were used at that point? Through friends of friends?
Probably, yeah, family, friends, and the peer group, like maybe share that one. One is taller, one is smaller, so probably, yeah, easier also probably than now.
David, do you remember any lessons that you learned from people in your family about doing the right thing, about being a fair person with competition, with life, doing what you're supposed to do, those kinds of lessons?
Immediately. I just heard a story about a 12-year-old who wasn't allowed to go on a competition because the mother said, my son is not allowed to lose. So losing is one of the biggest parts in life, and I learned that, of course, I wanted to win with Mensch ärgere dich nicht or in everything, but my father told me, okay, you can lose as well, but then shake hands, congrats to the other one, and that was early part of that. Of course, I was ambition, and in German the word Ehrgeiz is not so positively connotated, so ambition is, I like the English word more because translated it's like also greedy, greed for honor, and of course I had that also a little bit in me, but I learned it early, okay, to respect. And like the colors, my parents told me hello, goodbye, and please and thank you. And that opens probably normally every door. In every country I traveled, I learned these words in the language, and that's most of the time enough to get something you need.
David, do you remember a point of being frustrated when you were between 5 and 15 years of age that set you back that made you almost want to put your skis away and not get them back out again?
Not that strong, but of course, as I said, probably all the great athletes, they tell you you won't win all the time, so you have to learn that fast. But my path was quite straight, so I had talent, and most of the time I was with the strongest. But once I can remember that strongly, I don't know how old I was, like 10 or something, and I didn't jump that good at that time. And a friend of mine, 1 year older, he always started to cry, and of course he got after that a lot of attention, and I thought, okay, I tried it as well, and normally it's not my character, so it's funny to look back at that, that I tried that already with that young age, and today I'm not so happy, and of course, but I thought, no, that's not me. I'm still happy. It's okay. Jumping is important for me, but after that, I think I was naturally gifted to overcome. Of course, I was always my biggest critic because I wanted to improve strongly and fast. But I knew exercising, training, and commitment helps. Or is the only thing that helps.
What do you see in this kids of the last 20 years that seems to be, for me, it seems very different from the way I grew up, where we did a lot of settling our own problems amongst each other in the group, even if it came to wrestling each other and then somebody gives up, somebody wins, we could still go back and have dinner at somebody's parents' house and then be friends again the next day. It didn't mean we loved each other, but we were getting along well enough to keep hanging out in this group, whereas I think with all this Facebook stuff, sometimes things get lost as communication and settling of differences amongst young people.
Yeah, obviously, if you have everything, why fight for something? And I strongly see that as well. So you don't need Christmas, you don't need your birthday. If you want to have a new phone, you have it. So why fight for something? And through sports, I could travel the world. Before, I haven't been once. I wanted to see the Großglockner, so I got it as a present. The flight, the highest mountain of Austria. So it was a short flight. But before, I haven't been in an aeroplane. And after that, through my sport, I could travel the world, and that opened a new horizon for me.
When was the first time you got on a van with the other young people from the team and went to a competition with your coach?
Yeah, with six, yeah. And I already got third, so probably that was also helpful to stay in that sport. But there were only 3 competitors, so I didn't care about that. But and the first year I jumped with alpine skis. So normally the jumping skis, you have a loose heel. That's completely different. So the first year, my coach said, you're still small and probably you need to advance. So I jumped 1 year with the alpine skis, and after that I got my jumping skis.
What do you think you were jumping distance-wise at age 6 with the alpine ski boots?
Around 20 meters probably, yeah. Wow. Already quite far, because there weren't the first jump. I know it's you can't jump there anymore. It was in Kössen. It was quite a big hill to start, but at the beginning I never felt fear, so it was really joyful for me, and the task was I wanted to do it.
Is there any advantage for having mass of size for the ski jumping sport?
No, obviously, the lighter you are, it's easier to fly. The lighter, but like my constitution is I didn't have to do anything to stay or to hold my constitution. Also, as I grew up, so
You didn't have to cut weight, you mean?
No, yeah, that's true. Of course, that's an issue, but the Nordic combined, as you have to run, even for me, it was more important to stay at my level of
Fitness?
fitness. No, not fitness, but to keep my weight. So because during the races, of course, it takes out energy of the body. So for me, that wasn't the issue.
Keep weight on.
It was more to keep weight on, yeah.
And then the cold factor, I'm sure you've been in some races where it's below 0 and it's really cold. If you have a low body fat percentage, that could be a problem, couldn't it?
Yeah, when I moved, I always felt heat. So when at home or something, sometimes I like to have it warm and cozy. But when I move, I feel normally my body heats up. But of course, I also had to learn through experience because we had a competition, World Championships in Finland. And normally, as you ask me about weight, I always wanted to feel light. So in warm-up, I always dressed up heavily and maybe wear a belt with the water and everything. And then I wanted to run really light. And one of the coaches told us, be aware, it's minus 20 degrees Celsius, so wear an underwear, long underwear and everything. And I thought, no, you don't know anything about that. I want to feel light. And during that race, it's like the topography. It's really steep up and steep down, so fast descents. So it cooled my body really down. So we have a special word in German. It just exists, I think, in German or in Tyrolean. So if you have icy fingers and then they get warm again. So I really had that heavily, and I got sick after that race. So that was my teaching and my learning. Okay, when it's really cold, you have to dress up properly. As he also told us, of course, for the body, it takes a lot of energy to keep the warmth.
Did you tell your coach that you made that mistake, or did you just be quiet and keep that lesson inside?
No, of course. He saw it obviously afterwards. So yeah, but that's the teaching as well. It's like a circle of trust. Of course, most of the time you think that's perfect, but through experience, that's even probably the only thing you learn it right.
And how old were you at that time?
19, I think, yeah.
So that's the last part of rebelliousness for the young man. It's in those late teen years before you become like a seasoned veteran. Since you've been competing since you were 6, that's already 13 years of competition.
Yeah. So of course you have your structure and your routine, and you think that's obviously the best one. But then you have to learn and put other stones on your pile to get even higher.
So I'm similar to you. I always had a hard time keeping weight on, and I'm now 62, and this is the first year of my life that I can actually gain weight without trying. So I waited all the way until 62. But I worked at a camp up in the mountains in California, above Fresno, California, and we had a lot of college students. I was 32 at the time, and I'd grown up in New Jersey, so I learned about cold, and I was a skier, and I'd been to France skiing, and so now here I am at this camp, and it got a cold front. We actually got snow in June, a lot of snow, like almost 2 feet of snow, and we had these people who were used to eating granola at their college, these females that even had some weight on them. This was in 1995. And I said, hey, ladies, you want to eat some sausages here? I don't care if you're a vegetarian or what you are. We don't have avocados. We don't have that many nuts. If you eat sausages, you're going to be able to make it through until lunchtime. And if you don't, you're going to have problems because we're doing a lot of physical work. Well, they all got cold, even though they were good-sized women, young ladies like 18 to 20, and they got tired because they didn't have that fat, and they weren't used to getting into the fat on their body. It's called in English being fat adapted, means you can pick up the phone from your brain biochemistry and access the fat in your butt and your stomach or wherever your fat is. And they didn't know how to do that. Their systems weren't ready for it. So they came in exhausted and cold to lunch. And I said, remember the sausage that I told you about? So the next day they ate sausage and that problem went away. Tell me if you had any of those moments about learning about diet, fat, carbohydrates, sugar, and vegetable carbohydrates, those types of things.
Yeah, of course. As technique for endurance or force training or in the gym, as well, the diet is very important. And I had heavy issues with my digestion, so doctors they told me I have a inflation of my intestines.
Inflammation?
Inflammation, yeah.
Diverticulitis?
Colitis ulcerosa, yeah.
Colitis.
Colitis, yeah. And before that, like an athlete, you always think you're strong. You never want to show weakness or weaknesses. So every problem was like a nail. I only had a hammer. So I knew, okay, I can stand pain and everything. But with the colitis, that was different because when I did too much, it didn't help. When I did nothing, I felt frustrated. So that was a big teacher for me. And it was at the end of my time in Stams, a border school for skiing. So I had my final exams and I graduated there. And of course, it's stress on you, but for me it was normal to live in that environment. So it was hard, and also when a how do you call it? Nutrients, yeah, told me what to eat, and it was like a raw toast bread with ham on it and a cucumber. And I said, okay, I'm not a great big cucumber fan, but still, that's the only thing.
It's very good for the intestines.
Yeah,
for
but
most people, not everybody. But
that was not my way to heal myself. So luckily, my coach, one of the wisest humans I know, he was very much into reading books and also Asian tradition, Qigong. So we made Qigong exercising, breathing work, breath work, and like visualization and everything, and that helped me. At the end, I quit eating meat, so it wasn't the sausages. So I took a look, okay, what's inflammatory stuff that's hard on my body, and that was the key. So I don't have the problem anymore, because like the allopathic, or how the normal way of the medicine,
allopathic
yeah,
medicine.
probably
Allopathic.
yeah, they told me, okay, you have to live that your whole life probably, and I didn't want to have that vision of future for me, so these guys were wrong. I'm healthy now.
Went to a naturopath type doctor?
Yeah, a few of them, but not everybody helped me, so homeopathic and everything. So it was steps to my goal to, it's always, everybody is his own healer. So that's the thing. I had to learn, okay, what's good for me, what's not good for me. Of course, competitions, they put pressure on me, or I put pressure on me, because I thought it was most of the time end of November. It's the start of the World Cup in Finland. Of course, exactly at that time I always felt, oh, maybe it's insecureness or something like that. Did I do enough? Sometimes I was really in good shape, and then I felt a little bit going on in my digestion, and I didn't have the confidence to say, no, that's right, no problem. So most of the time, or a few times I took the wrong way then, and had to quit during the season. But as I told you, the inflammation, and with 20 I had an climbing accident, so I broke 2 vertebrae, like my second birthday.
Lumbar?
Yeah. So these were my my great masters who taught me more than any win that I had, because I had to listen to my body, to myself, what's important. So
when you fell, were you stuck on the ground without being able to move?
yeah, I can't remember that one as well.
You were knocked out?
I was knocked out, unconscious. Not unconscious. My father was with me. He climbed 2 meters above me, so I fell, and like a cat, I wanted to see where I'm falling, but right before the impact, I lost the memory. So the body has good ways to keep you off.
Your brain shut down before
yeah.
the impact?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And my father told me, because at that time he couldn't use my cell phone, so I opened that one for him, and I can't remember anything. First thing, I was in the hospital with the helicopter, and probably they woke me up there, and the first thing I said to them, don't put doping stuff into my body. And they, yeah. But probably I had loads of that already in my body. So no, they made it good, had an operation, a week later another one. So it took 6 months to recover fully.
Wow.
I was quite fast at that, because I had the goal to go to Salt Lake City to the Olympics. Almost made it there. But in the end, I had another inflammation of my body, because at the beginning I was happy to go in the toilet on my own, or to walk, to stand upright. That's a privilege. And after 6 months I forgot that's the privilege, and not seconds and meters. And then I had to learn it again the last time the hard way. And I thought the connections after that, because like the third and fourth vertebra of the lumbar spine, it's connected with the intestine. So okay, body, you want to tell me something, I don't listen to you, so you always give me like the sign with the hammer, or I need the sign with the hammer, and then I got more sensitive for his teachings.
So David, how old were you when you stopped eating meat?
It was around 2010, I think. Yeah.
2010?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were almost 20 years old when you stopped eating meat. 19?
Older than that, yeah. Almost 30, yeah.
Almost 30.
Yeah.
When you stopped eating meat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't a big meat eater, but of course, you want to trust science, and to gain force or anything, they tell you eat a steak. So when I did my training afterwards, I thought, okay, I have to eat the steak now. I wasn't a big steak eater, so but I thought to get better. That's the thing, you have to do your learnings. Then I got into different books. One is a Canadian triathlon athlete, and he wrote vegan in top shape or something like that. Probably that's the translation. And I understood certain ways to approach a goal. And he said, okay, how do I recover faster? Because digestion, it takes energy. It takes longer. A lion lies the whole day on his back, because it's hard to digest meat. So I understood that way, and for me it works best, yeah.
So you didn't fix your stomach issue until you were about 30 years old?
Almost, yeah.
And so what did you do before competitions if you had some problems? Did you fast?
No. When the symptoms were obvious, so I lost then blood, loads of blood, so it took just 1 or 2 weeks to send me home and wait till the inflammation is over. So I was, in hindsight, way too stubborn. I thought, okay, no, I don't give up. I want to still compete. So when I see my younger self now, I think, are you stupid running around? Why? Yeah, and probably you always lose the whole season because of that. So stay quiet, stay calm. But that's the learning curve.
So the Nordic skiing, toe is attached to the bind, alpine skiing.
Yeah. The heel, yeah.
The whole everything. The heel's attached, but the Nordic skiing, it's just the toe that's attached. And the Olympics, the first year, 1924, and the Paralympics, 1976. So how do the Paralympics people do Nordic skiing? And they don't do jumping, I'd imagine.
No, they don't do jumping, but like the paralyzed, they sit in a sled or something, yeah, or cross country, yeah, or one arms, yeah, impressive.
And they do mostly flat courses?
No.
They do everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
they do everything, yeah. Yeah, impressive. Good documentary, Rise of the Phoenix. So, like the approach is always the same. That's the thing. Olympics, Paralympics. Friend of mine, we went together to the lower grades in school, and he asked me to train him for the Special Olympics. So that was even a new impression for me. So like this openness and way different views on what is my goal, what's to do. So that was also a cool experience to that I gained there.
So the World Championship started in 1972 for a sport called ski flying. So this is something I may have seen on television, but I haven't, as I mentioned, I haven't had a television since I was 31, and I haven't run across this on YouTube. So tell me what you thought about this sport, and if you've ever traveled to a place and watched it or competed in the ski flying. What's this all about?
Ski flying is just the biggest hills you can jump as a ski jumper. So in Nordic Combined, next year will be the first competitions with on a ski flying hill. There aren't that many on the planet, yeah. And in Norway, Vikersund and Kulm, Austria, and in Oberstdorf. That's the only ones they still are usable. So because Planica in Slovenia, that's always at the end of the season. So we had our season over, so our coach asked us, do you want to try that? So we went there, and normally we always had a chat and fun and goofing around in the team. But there, the day before, it was quiet, and up there on the hill, it was quite intimidating, because you have to imagine it's like now there's the new world record since last year, a few months ago. Slovenian jumped, I think, 245 or something. And when you're up there, it's a natural in-run, so that doesn't look intimidating. But then it's like a football field that's straight, and then it goes down. So normally when you come to or get to a new jump, if you're not the first one, you want to take a look at somebody. So I took a look at a guy from Norway, and he jumped like already over 200 meters. And then you see that small guy riding out there, and okay, my heart started to beat, and I needed a second one, and he crashed. So that's even worse. So everybody up there, what's the problem? Is there too much wind? What's the issue? So I sat on the bar, and one of our coaches always said ski jumping is one of the only sports you can't do slow. So if you leave the bar, you're in there in the in-run, so you can't stop. And I strongly know that, I can remember that, because I got off the bar and my brain told me, now you're ski flying, now you're ski flying, now you're ski flying. And that's not the best way to approach a table to jump. So the rhythm wasn't right. I was a little bit too early. So the first one was, I think, 177 meters, and we had a second jump. So I jumped 198. That was quite good. But every time I was shaking in the outrun, so it was loads of adrenaline and everything involved. And I knew we weren't able to do a third jump, but 2 times I was the passenger, more or less, and on the third jump I knew, okay, then I'm the pilot. So that would be cool to have a third jump. But I like to watch that one if I get to see it on TV, because I can feel with the athletes. So that's also for them a big big thing, and also a big thing how to regulate yourself and attack.
The the idea of flying. So you started out at age 6 being on a team, and before that you said you were already looking for jumps. So the idea of flying was in you, you could say. Have you seen anyone pick up that sport after the age of, let's say, 20 years old?
Yeah, there are a few hobby jumpers. Like in Norway, there's one, we called him Smokey because he smoked every round he jumped. He took a cigarette, and for us it was more survival mode that he did. He did the biggest jumps, so 120-meter jumps. He was able to go down there, but it was more survival mode. Of course you can learn that also in an older age, but like the loose heel, you constantly have to keep your legs straight. So normally, like also with skiing or with the car and everything, most of the time you do the wrong thing if you have problems. So going back or bend the knees, and so that has to be in your DNA, straight legs constantly.
So you have seen someone start after the age of 20 and figure it out?
Yeah, he came down the mountain.
Last year I watched the 1980s movie for the first time on the British ski jumper Eddie the Eagle. Did you see that movie?
Yeah, of course.
Have you met him?
Mm-hmm. As an athlete, I was around 12 or something, and I saw he was training in Austria. And at that time, I thought everybody who is on the TV is a champion. And then he took the same bar as me and jumped not as far as I jumped with 12 years, but he was so kind to us and funny and chatted around with us, because obviously he was our hero a little bit and our star. And I was at the Olympics 2010 in London, and I met him there again, and I told him the story, so that was a great laugh, yeah.
Any other people that inspired you, Austrian or other international athletes or skiers that helped give you some motivation to keep doing what you were doing?
Yeah, the thing, like the Nordic group isn't that big, so you meet your heroes pretty fast. So there had been Andy Felder or Ernst Fedore, also Olympic champions, and they trained us in the Tyrolean region, and so you get to meet your heroes pretty fast. Or Klaus Sulzenbacher, he was a Nordic combined athlete from Kitzbühel, so that was always cool to meet them, and probably or normally you trust them more. There's a good spell, like in German, how I have to translate it. Yeah, ask the ones who is experiencing something and not who is a scientist, because you have to feel to do it. That's always the best thing, yeah.
Did you, with your coaches, you probably had a lot of breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, so things just organically pop out, little things, and then you feel the group energy, right? You're all on the same team and you're sharing. Everyone has a different personality and you all understand each other. Can you tell me what it's like being on a team versus just a hobbyist who goes out and does 20 kilometers on their own? What's the difference that you can suggest to people about doing combine things with other people versus just individual?
The good thing is you have a team, and the bad thing is you have a team. So but I tend to look at the positive side. So um, we were. I was like the youngest when I got to the national team. I was 15, 16 years old, and the oldest were around 20, 21. So it was really a young.
That's the full team, not the junior team.
Not the junior. No, that was the national team. So they took over, and one famous one, most decorated Olympian, Felix Gottwald. He's 5 years older than me, so he was the oldest at that time, and they were really starting through. And taking off like a rocket. So that was cool to see them. And at the beginning, like everything, it was like as you said, organic, and we were motivated. So if you have all just alpha athletes, that's a good thing. Then when there are good results and like maybe the ego goes a little bit higher than you want to, then maybe one or the other wants to do it on his own and doesn't want to share as much. But then at the end, I think that was our way, how we did it. Train in a group, but if you want to do it on your own or your own pace, then you could do that as well. And that was the best recipe.
Did the other people on your Nordic combined competitions and the people you trained with, did they have a similar background to you, that you were good at endurance, that you really liked to jump? Did they have that type of thing, or did some people start out ski jumping and they just couldn't be in the top 5, so then they said, hey, maybe I should try Nordic combined?
Yeah, I won both, so ski jumping and Nordic combined, when I was 13 or 14. So of course I also felt a little bit maybe just ski jumping on the media they value it maybe a little bit more, but now in hindsight I knew I'm a Nordic combined guy. I loved endurance as well, and the Austrian Ski Federation, the father of Ernst Fedori, the Olympic champion, he put me 1 year earlier on the team, so it was easier for me. He took the decision for me, so I got the gear and everything. So of course I was proud to be in the Austrian Ski Federation 1 year earlier. So probably he felt maybe I feel a little bit the sirens singing from the other side. But now in hindsight, because like the issues we talked at the beginning, it was exactly that decade where they didn't need anything, and like Sven Hannawald, if you're familiar with that one, probably the viewers who know ski jumping, and it was a harsh time and not a healthy time. So I was glad that I took the right exit.
Did you have some, I think you mentioned before that there were some competitions that you had trained for, but because of either an injury or recovering from intestinal things that you couldn't do, how does the whole idea of peaking and making a team, and then once you're on that team, making it all the way through to the event so that you're healthy, how does all that work? And did you learn anything throughout your 15, 20 years of that you can share with the viewers about that type of thing?
Yeah, of course, a goal helps. You see it right in front of you like a mountain, but the thing is you have to stay present, because otherwise probably you slip or you fall in that present moment. So to have a goal, to have that always in mind is very good, but to be calm, okay, it takes some time. It gain more and more endurance and speed and everything. So of course if you're good at the competitions before, it's easier to handle. But most of the time for me, as I learned it that early, pressure helped. So in the competitions most of the time I was able to show my best jumps. At the beginning maybe I was a little bit suspicious, took other gloves or other socks, and that helped to lower the pressure or to feel different. So in the competition you want to be the best version of yourself constantly. So you can learn that as well. So that helped me over the years, and most of the time I was able to show the best performance that I was able to do at that time.
Yeah, before I said nutrients, and those are the things that you get out of food, but nutritionist is the person who studies this type of thing. The 2010 Olympics, was that Calgary?
No, Vancouver.
Vancouver, okay, Vancouver. And you are 29 years old? Out of all of your years of competition, were you better at 25 than you were 29, or was this your best year, you think?
Yeah, the thing is, as I had the climbing accident and the inflammation problem, with 19 I already got second in the World Cup race, so, and also a silver medal at the World Championships. And then I thought, okay, now no more breaks. I train the whole year and I want to win everything. That's when I had then the issue on the mountain and the crash. And after that, years after years, I always had constantly some issues. So I wasn't able to be healthy all the time, and that's the most important as an athlete. So the best athletes are healthy all the time. So I learned through that for my life. But I was able then to see it more, how should I say, be easier on me as well. And that was the best approach to the competitions. And like maybe I lost a little bit in ski jumping. At the beginning I was really good in ski jumping. But like at the Olympics in the team race I had the fastest time, so I was a good skier then as well. So if you can match that and combine that.
So your cross-country skiing got better by the time you were 29.
Mm.
And tell us about making the team for that 2010 Olympics. Was it hard to make the team? And once you did, what did the coach do with you people to keep you focused, to keep you healthy for the Vancouver Olympics?
Yeah, we separated then in two groups. We split up. So like they called us what was our name? The Esoteric group, because like we did our breath work and everything, and the others wanted to have more science and everything involved. So we split up and had two teams. And when I made it on the team to the Olympics, of course, then you go together. My coach said, okay, we go before Vancouver to Las Vegas. And the other coach, a Norwegian, said, if one of my athletes goes with them, I quit. And he made maybe the wrong thoughts, because we trained there. It was warm, and my coach knew, okay, like in Las Vegas, you have so many things to distract your mind, and the thing is, always thinking about your goal also sucks out energy. Mm-hmm. So that was around Super Bowl time, and
What are you running up and through the trails?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, played a little bit of golf. Did our training, and then the others flew to Calgary, and they didn't get their gear. It was extremely cold. They couldn't train, so I thought, okay, my coach probably made the right decision, and we went there with a smile and with loaded batteries.
How many people were in your group?
Just two.
Vegas? Two people.
Two people and one coach. Yeah.
Is your coach a full-time ski coach, or does he have another job during the year?
No, full-time ski coach. Yeah.
So he's paid by the Austrian government?
No, by the ski federation.
Ski federation.
Yeah. Now he has his own really a hard exercise to handle in life. 2 years ago he had an accident and had some blood in his brain, so still sitting in a wheelchair. So as I said, one of the wisest humans I know, and also like a Zen master type of guy. So heavy for him and heavy to see him like that. But he told us so much, and he was like, not told us, he always invited us to make another step, and he was never forcing or anything like that, or gave us some books and then, okay, try it out if it fits for you. Or
What's his name and what is his background?
Günther Kromicek is his name, and his background is he was also an athlete, not very successful. He quit and started early to get a coach or become a coach. And over the years, I asked him once, where did you get all this stuff? Did you have any like tutor or like a mentor? Because for us he was a big mentor. And no, he said that he found that, or the books found him, and then he tried that, and yeah, that was the way. When you see his parents, they left him very much freedom. So his father was also worked for the railway. So with 15 he told us he went with his friend, because with Interrail you get a cheap ticket to Norway, and they cycled down already with 15 years. So that's early. So he had loads of freedom to express and to get to know himself. Yeah, and he gave us that as well. So yeah.
He was very open-minded, would you say?
Yeah, very, very. But at the Olympics, that was then the problem, because he wasn't a national coach. And after the team event, there was another single competition. So as we had two groups, it started with some politics, and I didn't start then the next race. So, but that was also good learning for me, because like all the books I read, you have to keep your ego low and down. So, but at that time I asked the coach from the national coach in the region, do you think the other guy is better than me? And he didn't say yes. And that was one of the only times I told him then, yeah, the F word, because normally, okay, I had situations before that, and I said, okay, if you tell me you think he's stronger, then I will also test the skis, as we did as a group. The ones who didn't run, the substitutes, they helped to prepare then the skis or test them to get out the best stuff for the athletes. Then I thought, okay. But also in hindsight, because the next year it was almost the same issue, because I had always, it was heavy for me during training to show my best jumps, because maybe I didn't feel the pressure or anything. I just wanted to test it. It wasn't on purpose. Of course, I wanted to jump far, but like I had problems during training. So if the coach doesn't know you, probably he thinks, oh no, he's out of shape. So with Günther, with Jackie, he knew that, and gave me the confidence that it's all right. But the other one thought, okay, he's out of shape, and that was. But the next year, probably he knew that as well, because in training, funny story, because Jackie, as we called our coach, he always said, sit on the bar with a smile. Be happy that you're there in that situation. You did something to get there, and then leave everything behind. Smile and hope for the best. And it's also like to feel easy. You can't swear if you smile and feel it. So he knew all this, ways how to translate yourself in a way to perform. And like Felix, I told you, the guy with the 3 gold medals, the next year in Oslo, we both had troubles in training, and then we watched the special jumpers, and they were sitting with a smile, the Norwegians, because their coach said bright eyes, and the first round they were first, second and fourth, I think, and the second round probably they bit in a lemon. They were sitting like that, and they didn't made a medal. So I told Felix, because it was the team competition. Okay, tomorrow I watch you and you watch me. Who smiles the strongest? And he had his best jump, and I was the furthest Austrian. And like 5 meters more is really a huge gap. So in training I jumped like 115 or something like that, and in the competition I jumped over 130. So that was a huge leap, and just because I left everything behind, trusted my 10,000 exercises, as you said, to gain like excellence, and it helped. Yeah.
So on that jump, do you remember what your heart and your mind were doing, what you were feeling when you were sitting up there getting ready to jump?
Yeah, not that much because I had to focus on one thing: smile and be happy to show my best. And that's an easy approach.
You were in the moment.
Yeah, right in the moment.
Was that the best in the moment of any jump that you've done in competition?
Yeah, as a young it was easier for me because I really had always a high level at that, so it was easier to show the highest level. But probably at that time, because I didn't have the best jumps before, so it felt really rewarding. Because of sometimes it's always the devil and the angel on your side, and the devil tells you, now it's team competition, if you suck, your whole team will suck and everything, of course. And that's weight again, so okay. Thank you for your wise words, but I listen to the other side and just smile. And like also in Vancouver at the Olympics, I've just focused on breath work. That helped me. Belly breathing, 3 breaths. Okay, David, and I just focused also on the acoustic rhythm, because key jumping is like shik, and I thought, okay, I put everything aside, because if you don't show your best, everybody, it's of course they want to help you, but everybody tells you then at that time how it will work better. So I thought, no, I put everything aside and I just focus on gaining speed and the rhythm, and also the best jump then.
So tell us about the team competition, David, at Vancouver. How many events did you do, and how much time did you have, and how many days did that take to do the team competition?
Team competition is on 1 day, so 1 jump and then 5K race.
1 jump?
One jump,
you only
yeah.
get 1 chance at
Yeah.
it. And normal ski jump people that only do ski jump, do they get 3?
No, they have 2.
They have 2.
Yeah. It changed over the years. Before we also had 2, but of course, to keep it in a format for TV, it's best to have 1 jump and then
then a 5K
and then the
race.
5K race. Yeah.
And all of your team is in that race with you?
No, it's a relay.
It's a relay.
Yeah. So I was the second, and the US guys, they were really strong at that time, so they already had medals in the single races, and they had maybe one guy who wasn't that fit, and he ran first, and they said, okay, if you do your job, we will do the rest to win gold. And he was still first when they gave to our group, to the second group, and I was running with Todd Lodwick, decorated, or one of the most decorated athletes of the US, and so it was a good fight with him.
And do you touch the other person?
You have to, yeah. Otherwise
With your
you're
hand.
disqualified, yeah.
With your hand.
Mm.
And then he gets out of the way, right?
Yeah.
And how many minutes is that you were with the American guy?
Yeah, it's like around 11 minutes. Yeah.
Is it mostly on a flat course?
No. Of course you have some elevation, but that was always my strong side. So I attacked as well when it was going uphill. So I knew that's where I'm good, and we really had perfect skis. So our gear was united as well on that day, on these days, and I felt, okay, my skis are running perfectly. So that gives you confidence as well, and then it's a 2.5K loop, so 2 times you run that, and in the first loop I tried to because he was a little bit in front of me, taught to close the gap, and I almost did it. But then I thought, okay, if I got too hard on that, maybe I have to quit. So I turned a little bit down, and his gap got bigger again. And the German guy, he closed it then really fast. So I thought, okay, now I have to go with him. And there were also, like, again, the devil. Oh, too fast, David, you're in the red zone. But then there was a descent. And I felt, okay, I could recover. And the German, he put his pole between his legs, so he fell. And they thought I did it, because sometimes when you run in a group, it happens that you step on the pole and maybe you distract the other person. So it wasn't me, he told it also then the media. But the thing was, I thought because it was right before the ascent, and I had in my mind, okay, I want to attack there. So it looked as if when he felt I attacked, so so only Todd and me went then over the finish line to give.
Close. You were close to each other?
We were close, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you had tripped the German guy, what would have happened to you if they proved that you tripped him?
No, normally that's a racing incident. If it's not if you don't see it that you really want to do it, it's a racing incident, and that's normal. That can happen if you run in a group like the cyclists or something. Yeah. And normally nobody wants to do that. Hopefully, on purpose.
So take us how soon at the finish line, your last number 5 guy, is that how many people were? 4. When the number 4 guy in your team finished, did you know you won the gold medal?
Yeah.
Where were you, and tell us about what was going on?
As the other athletes, you're allowed to wait there at the finish line, and almost like a linebacker.
With your big jacket on?
Yeah, it was quite warm at that day.
Okay.
So, but I think I had it on, and like in American football, I jumped at him and put him on the floor. So
he's in his skis and you tackled him.
I tackled him, yeah. And we were piling up, of course. It was, of course, great memories, but I can remember my thoughts, because since I was a small child, that was my biggest goal, to gain an Olympic gold. And then I won it, and I thought, okay, I'm still David. Because right when he got over the line, okay, then you know, okay, you're an Olympic champion. I'm the same guy. Because before you think as a child, probably everything else will change, and in Las Vegas it was funny because the taxi driver asked us, what are you doing? Afterwards we're going to Vancouver, okay, and he's already 2-time Olympic champion. And then you need a taxi here, asking, because he thought, okay, or stretch limb or something. And that was funny, and I still can remember that impression that I thought, okay, I'm still the same.
What day of the week was the that competition, and how soon was the award ceremony with the Olympic gold medal?
Day or date, I can't remember it, but I think was it the 16th, because my coach always had in February his birthday, so most of the time it were the big events were at his birthday. But the ceremony was in the evening, so there you feel a little bit like a rock star, because there are 3 bands, gold, silver, bronze, and you wear the ID and everything. So for a short amount of time you feel like a rock star. And I don't know, some famous guy played music, and quite cool experience.
Is this at a stadium?
Yeah. No.
And it's outdoors?
Outdoor stadium, yeah.
Any snow?
Yeah, loads of snow, yeah.
Was it coming down during the celebration, snow?
I can't remember that one. It was in Whistler, so Vancouver, there wasn't any snow, so the events were in Whistler.
How did you get to Whistler?
Yeah, by car.
Your team had a rental car?
Yeah. But like they shut down everything, it was like a border. So one funny story, because we went out a little bit by car, and of course, like the Olympic Village is really secluded and shut down, and at the gate where they inspect the car, one of the officers, he got on his how do you call it, the walkie-talkie from the highway patrol, and he asked, did you somebody asked me if you were speeding, and I said no, I don't know. And after these days they said be careful, because the officers, they wait down there for the foreigners to don't speed up. So I was lucky to go into the village without a fine.
And you got your gold medal with the other 3 people on your team. Your coach is giving you high fives, everybody's hugging. Did you go out and have dinner that night and talk about it?
Yeah, of course. No, you have the Austrian house, all the official stuff, okay, with the TV and media, and of course you get to go to dinner, and also also the journalists, and give the interviews. But at that day, one of the journalists told me, do you know that you're not racing in 2 days, because there was the single event? So I couldn't enjoy that evening that much, because I thought normally one of or the coach should tell me that, and not hear it through the media. So that sucked. Yeah.
How many gold medals do you think Austria got in 2010?
We were quite good at that Olympics. I don't know. It's
more than 15.
Yeah, it was quite successful for Austria. But I can't. No gold weren't that much.
But a lot of medals.
The jumpers also in team too. But I think there were many medals. Yeah.
Any messages you want to pass on to the next generation, and for people who are like 10 years old right now that are aspiring to be athletes and good, clean people, developed young men and women?
Yeah, follow your heart. That's always the best.
Read books.
Readers are leaders. That's also the thing. Of course, it depends what you're reading. So be open-minded, respectful, and try out yourself. Of course, you have to learn. Be keen to take the next steps. Normally, fear is, or behind fear is you get the beautiful things. So if you got stuck in there, like in the tiny homes, so step out. The world isn't that harmful, and if you approach life with, I think, with respect and joy and open-minded, then you will reach the goals you have.
There.
Yeah.
Bitteschön. So stay right there. So I'm Sifu Slim. It's been wonderful to be out here in nature, sharing a conversation with David, and we'll have information if you want to connect with David underneath this video. And keep on plugging, work your magic, learn from other people, and keep learning. That's why one of the things I like about these videos, I get excited about, is because I get to learn something new, and then when I see an event, I can relate to it. There's context to put it in, and then I can send David an email and say, hey, did you see this competition? So please give us a thumbs up, like, and consider subscribing, and share your comments and questions down below, and we'll get back to you soon. Big aloha. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.